Hello and thanks for joining us. This is TVWAN News. In this edition, EU supports women's economic empowerment, PNG launches Osaka Expo efforts, and QRL confirms further postponement of Round 1 matches. In celebration of International Women's Day, TVWAN News has taken a bold step in recognizing and empowering women in media by leading an all-female crew in delivering the news. Women took charge across all technical and editorial roles, proving their skills and leadership in broadcast journalism. In recognition of International Women's Day, TVWAN News has taken a bold step in empowering women in media by assembling an all-female crew to deliver the news. From the transmission team to camera operators, studio directors, field operators, and the news presenter, women took the lead in every aspect of production, demonstrating their learned skills in broadcast journalism. Speaking on the significance of the initiative, Jasmine Iro-Jack, journalist and news presenter, emphasized the importance of representation in media.
Being in the media industry is very exciting and a rewarding journey, especially today when we have an all-female crew today. Back then, in the media industry or in news and journalism, it was more of male-dominant and an all-boys club. But that's slowly fading away. And I'm glad to be in this era where we see a lot of those changes, where a full cycle change, where you see women in the director's role, in chief editor. You also see them doing camera work, and I'm so glad I'm in this era.
Helen Farapo, senior transmission controller and trainee camera operator, shared her excitement about working behind the camera.
I've been a team leader for the past 4 years amongst a male-dominated space, the only female team leader among the three. And it's been really challenging being a woman, to be confident, to gain confidence, and to be courageous.
Meanwhile, Ida Matrus, transmission controller and trainee director, acknowledged the progress being made for women in media.
To be a young woman in this field, it just goes to show that, you know, us women, regardless of any unforeseen barriers, where we can do anything as long as we put our minds to it. Anything, you know, so much more that we are accustomed to is within our arm's reach.
By championing gender equality in the newsroom, this initiative ensures that women have a place not only in front of the camera, but also in the technical and leadership aspects of the industry. It serves as an inspiration for aspiring female journalists, producers, and media professionals to pursue their passions with confidence. Today, the European Union delegation signed 2 new contracts supporting women's economic empowerment in Papua New Guinea, while commemorating International Women's Day 2025. These 2 projects, to be implemented by World Vision PNG and the Specialty Coffee Association of PNG.
In 2024, the European delegation launched a call for proposals focused on women's economic empowerment and leadership, aiming to remove barriers to market access, investment, and business development for women, including marginalized groups, youth, and those with disabilities. Today, the European Union delegation signed 2 new contracts supporting women's economic empowerment in Papua New Guinea, while commemorating International Women's Day 2025. These 2 projects are to be implemented by World Vision PNG and the Specialty Coffee Association of PNG.
And foster both economic and social growth. This is what we are all seeking for this beautiful country, which is made of a young population. And when you empower women, you also provide life to a community. And this life is also made for the family. And with a small project, you can really easily make a community live better.
World Vision will receive a 3.5 million kina grant project to support 150 women entrepreneurs in the autonomous region of Bougainville. This project, called Supportim Strong Plameri, empowering Arab women in business will support inclusive and equitable economic opportunities for women and youth by enhancing their knowledge, skills, capacity, and access to the market system in central Bougainville.
For us, women's economic empowerment makes sense to help the family and to help children. When we see women who have stable financial contributions to their household, we see investments in children's health and education.
The Specialty Coffee Association will also receive a 3.5 million kina to enhance access to skills development, entrepreneur training, financial services, and business leadership for women and girls in the specialty coffee value chain, including in the Highlands.
I take this time to acknowledge and express our most sincere gratitude to the European Union, one of the most important and biggest donor and development partners, for this valuable support in endeavor to promote women entrepreneurship in specialty coffee. Thank you very much.
The ambassador thanked the World Vision, the Specialty Coffee Association of PNG, the government of Papua New Guinea, and civil society as a whole for their strong collaboration in advancing protect human rights, equal opportunity, and gender equality. The event was witnessed by Minister for Security and Bougainville Regional MP Peter Tamaleli Jr. and representatives from the civil society. Maricela Kelaton, TVWAN News.
The business community of Rabaul town has expressed deep concerns over the escalating law and order issues that have recently plagued both the town and the wider province. During a Rabaul business community meeting held on Tuesday, March 4th, at the Rabaul Hotel, business owners, together with provincial and district leaders, discussed ways to effectively address the issues. Among the discussions, Acting Rabaul District Administrator Freddie Lemeki said a police reservist training is scheduled for the month of April to beef up police manpower. He said from this program, the reservists can be deployed to hotspots and do footbeats. Lemeki also announced that an eviction exercise is planned for the coming months to evict illegal settlers in Rabaul town. Papua New Guinea will be part of the Osaka World Expo 2025 in Kansai, Japan. The national government yesterday evening launched PNG's efforts towards this 6-month event.
Papua New Guinea will be showcased to the world through the Osaka World Expo 2025 that will be held in Kansai, Japan from April 13 to October 13, 2025. The theme is Designing Future Society for Our Lives. The expo will address 8 key thematic areas focused on global challenges, providing an exceptional platform for PNG to showcase its trade and investment potential, cultural heritage, and tourism opportunities to the world.
Contribute ideas throughout the 9 meetings we held so far to ensure that our team delivers to the Expo effectively as expected by government. It is estimated that during the course of 6 months, more than 28 million visitors will walk through the Expo site.
International Trade and Investment Minister Richard Maru encouraged the PNG business community, provincial governments, private sector institutions, and entrepreneurs to actively engage in this global event, seize the opportunities it presents, and establish meaningful international partnerships.
With our SMEs, with our private sector, and with our major investors, those in the mining and petroleum space, fishery space, agriculture space, we need to have space in Tokyo. Tokyo is the heart of business, and that's where the business is done, so we need to be there.
The national government have made a commitment to fund a pavilion and a facility to showcase PNG in a unique way with an allocation of 5.6 and 3 million kina respectively. Prime Minister James Marape made a commitment to attend the expo.
This country will go to Japan and tell the world. We have a robust free market economy, a democracy in the Pacific, and we take our place in the Pacific seriously, and we will go there to
not just sell a product, but also tell them about us.
It is anticipated that the Expo Secretariat team led by Ambassador Dusava and representatives from key stakeholder agencies will depart for Japan at the end of March to prepare for the official opening of the Expo on April 13 and to manage the PNG Pavilion and coordinate PNG's participation at the Expo for the full 6-month duration. Maricela Kelaton, TV1 News.
Meantime, the Minister for Tourism, Arts and Culture says his ministry is grateful for the opportunity to be part of the Expo and will maximize the engagement during the Expo to drive tourism back to PNG.
To showcase Papua New Guinea's authentic art and culture in Japan. Japan is one country in the world that promotes indigenous art and culture, and we can tap into that market as a country. We are also best placed to show the world our incredible diversity in arts and culture, traditions, languages, and tourist attractions in Papua New Guinea.
You're watching TV1 News. Among stories after the break, Ivingoi Secondary resumed classes and change in agriculture and livestock sector. Welcome back. Another criminal on the run has surrendered to police in Medang town early this week. This is the second for the year. Simeon Krimbo, aged 32, has been on the run since 2020. On Wednesday, 5th February, Simeon Krimbo voluntarily presented himself to Provincial Police Commander, Acting Superintendent Robert Baim for the alleged crimes of robbery and sea piracy. Ivingoi Secondary School in Okapa is set to resume classes next Monday following the official signing. And uncertainty, students attending Ivingoi Secondary School in Okapa will return to class next Monday. A memorandum of agreement was signed between the warring Navu and Yagariba clans early this week. The school was forced to close after violent clashes erupted on campus, endangering students and staff. Teachers and students who fled are urged to return. Following weeks of negotiations, Provincial Education Board Representative Robert Williams confirmed that the school could reopen. Okapa District Development Authority CEO Kalabe Yabaimanta led a delegation of district and provincial officials to witness the signing. Among those present were District Education Manager Cindy Easy, Inspector Helen Hutu, East Okapa President Kepi Anako, Okapa Rural Police Station Commander, church representatives, and community leaders from 11 surrounding wards. During the event, CEO Yabaimanta urged the community to protect educational institutions and warned that law enforcement would intervene if violence occurred again. He announced that all secondary and high schools in Okapa would receive 4x4 diner trucks to support operations. While teachers and students have been instructed to return over the weekend, Principal Mackenzie Agusave and Board Chairman John Yaigu assured the public that full classes would resume on Monday. The PEB has issued a final warning that any further violence will result in permanent school closure. Over 100 students took a major step forward toward a brighter future at the 2024 Tarama and Pari Flexible Open Distance Education graduation ceremony held on Thursday. The event was a significant milestone, marking the first ever graduation for the Pari and Tarama FODE Center since the Kokoda Track Foundation partnered with the program early this year. In a region historically challenged by low secondary school graduation rates, the graduation ceremony highlighted the crucial role of accessible education pathways in empowering communities. Students from grades 9 to 12 were celebrated for their achievements in overcoming various challenges to complete their studies through the FODE program. In attendance were several distinguished sponsors and dignitaries who have been key supporters of the initiative. These included KTF CEO Dr. Genevieve Nelson, who in her speech underscored the importance of continued collaboration to bring education closer to the people.
And inaugural graduation for the Pari Tauranga FODE Centre, hey? This is one for the records, for the history books. Congratulations. We know FODE is not easy. We know it's a really difficult pathway. Congratulations for staying the course.
Also present was Daddy Tucker Jr., a strong advocate for education in remote areas who applauded the students' resilience.
So thank you, the biggest number of graduates. 172 of you are graduating. There's over 100 of you here. I'm very, very proud of each and every one of you. And thank you, Padre. And thank you, Padre.
Dame Carol Kiddu emphasized the broader impact of education on society and said that this graduation was a triumph not only for these students, but for PNG's future.
And we must keep going, and that's why I am so grateful to our sponsors that we have now, TVWAN and of course the Cyclone Foundation. Because if they go, we don't. That's the reality. And so we've got to all work, including our two major sponsors, we've got to all work to find others to come to be part of this team. 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 Together, everyone achieves more.
Kina Bank's head of communications, Mikendi Kayok, also spoke at the event, highlighting the bank's commitment to supporting education initiatives that create long-lasting benefits for communities. He said that investing in education is an investment in the future of the country, and Kina Bank is proud to be of support. The event underscored not just a moment of academic achievement, but a renewed commitment to improving education accessibility across PNG, especially in remote and underserved areas. The collaboration between KTF, local leaders, and various sponsors has set a powerful precedent for future initiatives aiming to make quality education available to all. Janet Yamahune, a cocoa farmer in the East Sepik province, can now efficiently dry her produce in a less laborious and eco-friendly way. Thanks to a partnership between the Australian government and agriculture exporter Outspan PNG, Janet and 34 others have been equipped with a specially designed solar dryer that enables her to conveniently dry cocoa using the sun's energy rather than burning firewood. For Janet, the new solar dryer has now reduced her workload and delivered more of everything else: more money, more time, and more opportunities. She would usually earn 400 kina for a bag of cocoa, but with the improved quality, she is now making up to 2,000 kina. Janet can now afford school fees, a new water tank, and even help other cocoa farmers in her community. The solar dryers replace traditional drying methods that are labor-intensive and often lead to smoky beans and lower prices. President of Farmers and Settlers Association Wilson Thompson is speaking on reforming the agriculture and livestock sector. He shared that production is declining as per data from 2002 to 2004, and change is needed now.
The Farmers and Settlers Association support the Prime Minister and his vision for the country, but are concerned that the government's own objectives, such as Vision 2050, PNG SDP 2030, Medium-Term Development Plan 4, and even the recently launched National Agriculture Strategic Plan 2033, would be unattainable. President of Farmers and Settlers Association Wilson Thompson shared that creating 2 million jobs, exporting 6 million green bean bags of coffee, 40,000 metric tons of cocoa, or 50,000 metric tons of copra, or getting more rubber and even getting 100,000 head of cows is a serious problem. However, in 2022, PNG produced 840,000 green bean bags in 2022 and 40,000 metric tons of cocoa in an election year, and went up to 2024 to 980,000 coffee bags and 44,000 metric tons of cocoa, and now 826,000 bags and 42,000 metric tons of cocoa. Cattle figures are below 50,000 and more than half produced by New Britain palm oil.
So basically, what we've seen and what we want to support the Prime Minister is that we need to commercialize agriculture. And to commercialize agriculture, we cannot do it in bits and pieces. And we've tried to put an argument, and the agencies and government is not listening. But we've gone through and we've done the figures from 2000 to 2020-24, a period of 24 years.
The association believes the government needs to start new programs, even if it means changing directors of commodity boards and statutory agencies.
So what we want and what we are proposing is that we need to utilize all the available state land. And that is where we can get a production. For example, we've got tens of thousands of hectares of land in Rabaul district, likewise in Rigo. And then we will go up to Murua in Gulf, we go up to Sangara in Oro, Aruna Valley, we got about 3,000 or 4,000 hectares of state land. And at present, all the state land, even Kujip, Kinden, Awi, it's like 25% capacity. So we are not saying that let's leave the smallholders. Smallholders are the livelihoods, the lifeline of the country. They'll be supported, but the government must put more emphasis and get all the state land that must be producing 100% or even 75% capacity.
He said once PNG gets these areas producing at full capacity, then it will achieve half of the country's targets and can restart the plantations and blocks that will deliver the balance, before work on unsecured plantation and blocks on customary land. Jasmine Erojak, TVWAN News.
And now the finance news. The Kina closed unchanged at $0.2487 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, our Kina was buying $0.2412, $0.3785 Australian dollars, $0.2160 euro, and 35.35 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, cocoa, copper, and palm oil closed higher, while gold, coffee, crude oil, and copper closed lower. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed lower, ASX closed lower, and all ordinaries closed lower as well. You're watching TV1 News. We'll have news overseas when we return. Stay tuned. Thanks for staying with us. Cyclone Alfred's impending arrival may have been delayed, but the coast is already feeling his fury. Despite the warnings to stay inside, thousands of Gold Coasters headed to the beach to get a glimpse of what could be a once-in-a-lifetime swell. Authorities are now threatening huge fines for people who refuse to get out of the ocean.
Shine beat down on a striking Gold Coast morning, masking the imminent danger inching towards the mainland.
All this chaos, but yet we're just waiting in trepidation to see what actually comes of it.
With no school and no work, massive crowds were drawn to witness Mother Nature at her most ferocious.
I've been here about 15 years and never seen it like this. It's crazy.
It's rough, it looks angry. It's another level.
Families lapping up the outdoor freedom.
It's hard with 2 3-year-olds to just stay at home all day, so here we are.
Before the window closes and it's time to bunker down.
Make the most of it before we're stuck inside for the next 3 days.
While breathtaking for spectators, the power surging beneath is not to be underestimated.
I'm just staggered that people would be so stupid.
By afternoon, the rain had set in, and conditions are only expected to get more dangerous as Tropical Cyclone Alfred bears down.
So our threat will start to begin from tonight, escalate into tomorrow, into Saturday, and likely not ease until late Saturday evening or into Sunday.
While authorities recognise this massive swell is exciting to witness, it's now too dangerous to be near the ocean. Police say because the city is under a disaster declaration, they have the power to hand out $16,000 fines to anyone caught acting recklessly.
We've had situations where sand has given away, the beach has given away while people are walking on it. You've all seen the footage, it is dangerous.
Those big seas led this cruise ship to delay its arrival into Brisbane.
The decision was made to actually extend the cruise by another 3 days. We are concerned about what we'll find when we get home.
A sentiment being echoed across the region.
The federal government says the River Murray's water recovery journey is well underway, claiming more than half of its water target is on track to flood back into the expansive basin. But as gigalitres flow back into South Australia waterways, residents of the Fleurieu Peninsula are still feeling the effects of a severe dry spell.
Liquid gold bought by the government from water holders along the Murray-Darling Basin. The target, 450 gigalitres, flooded back into the River Murray by 2027. The federal government says it's confirmed 130 gigalitres already, about half of that through buybacks, and it's on track to secure 150.
It's vital for South Australia's cities and towns. It's vital for South Australia's agriculture and industry, and of course it's vital for the environment.
But the Coalition's water spokesperson says the minister is overstating how much has been secured for the basin, while the Greens say any water for the Murray is welcome.
As we get into a more drier period, as climate change starts hitting, we're going to need that even more.
A dry period which has already taken a toll in the Adelaide Hills and Fleurieu Peninsula regions. Rain isn't forecast to arrive for months, and tanks and dams are close to empty.
There's 3 families that I know of down there. Their kids aren't going to school because of this situation. You know, they can't have a shower. They can't wash their clothes.
Yankalilla's mayor says 80% of properties in his council aren't connected to mains water, creating an overwhelming demand for water delivered by truck.
And what seems to have happened is that all at once people have realised that they're getting a bit low, they've phoned the water carters and they've created inadvertently a bottleneck where there's waits being listed even up to 2 months.
If the minister gave me a tanker, we could get water down to the people in need.
A state government spokesperson says it's working to get more water carting deliveries into the area by supporting potential new carters to help hydrate a thirsty region.
A Supreme Court jury have been taken to an isolated beach where a young woman was murdered in far north Queensland. 24-year-old Toya Cordinley was walking her dog in broad daylight when she was killed 6 years ago north of Cairns. Rawinder Singh has pleaded not guilty.
Casual dress for the gravest of matters. Supreme Court Justice James Henry traded his robes for shorts and a hat as proceedings moved from the courthouse to Wongetti Beach north of Cairns. Under police escort, the jury was bussed to the scene where it's alleged Toya Cordinley was murdered in October 2018. She died after her throat was cut. Police allege nurse and father of 3, Rawinder Singh, killed her and left the country in the following days. The View arranged for the jury of 8 men and 4 women to provide locational context, beginning with where the 24-year-old's car was found. Jurors then walked several kilometres up the beach, with traffic cones marking points of interest, including the site where Miss Cordingley's body was found and where her dog was tied to a tree. This extraordinary sitting of a Supreme Court session follows on from emotional scenes in court yesterday when the wife of the accused gave evidence. Speaking through a Punjabi interpreter, Sukhdeep Kaur told the court she had not seen or spoken to her husband in 6 years, and nor had their children. She told the court Singh left their family home in Innisfail carrying only a little handbag and said he would be back the next day. It would be 4 years before he was extradited back to Australia and charged with Miss Cordingley's murder. The trial continues.
Tasmania's salmon industry is coming to grips with an unprecedented mass death event, with around 6% of its annual fish production dying last month alone. It comes as new video released by environmental activists shows live salmon being extracted from pens and sealed in tubs with piles of dead fish.
In the waters off Bruny Island, farmed salmon are being poured into crates, some still alive when they're sealed in. This vision has been captured by environmental activists, monitoring a Huon aquaculture lease in the D'Entrecasteaux Channel.
Images of rotting dead salmon, images of live fish being thrown carelessly into bins and suffocating to death is not what they market to the public.
Huon and other operators in Storm Bay have been battling a disease outbreak of rickettsia-like organisms at the lease site. For weeks, chunks of fish and/or fish oil have been washing up on southeastern Tasmanian beaches. In Parliament this morning, the Premier repeated a warning to the industry.
I said the salmon companies are on notice, and they are. And I also, in saying that, expect a highest possible degree of accountability and transparency.
But some don't have faith the government or its environmental watchdog will hold the industry accountable.
They're not telling Tasmanians how many fish have been killed. They're not saying where they're being disposed of. They're not clear in their information about whether that is a new virus in Tasmania.
This afternoon, the EPA revealed it estimated there are about 5,500 tonnes of dead fish in the area. That's roughly 6% of the industry's annual production.
Our information indicates that we're not quite past the peak yet, so we expect that it'll be ongoing for a little while yet.
Environmentalists say this should be a turning point.
At Christmas time, I was sitting there quite despondent. I thought, what is it going to take to rein this industry in and get it managed properly? And I thought a natural disaster is the only thing that will rein this industry in.
Huon Aquaculture's RSPCA certification could also be at risk. The Animal Welfare Organisation released a statement saying the inhumane treatment of live, sick or injured fish was completely unacceptable. It said it would be seeking further information and considering what action is required. The ABC asked Salmon Tasmania and Huon Aquaculture for interviews. Both declined. Huon Aquaculture provided a video statement saying it was disappointed and has launched a full investigation.
And that ends the news segment. Later in sports, OFC Professional League and Joey Charlie Cup kicks off. Welcome back. The Oceania Football Confederation, or OFC, is embarking on an exciting venture with the upcoming launch of the OFC Professional League, set to commence in January 2026. This new league is expected to significantly enhance the football landscape in the Oceania region, presenting professional opportunities for clubs and players alike.
The skipper goes down.
So far, the OFC has received 24 expressions of interest from various clubs across the Pacific, showcasing a robust demand for participation in this transformative competition. New Zealand tops the list with 6 clubs, followed by PNG, Fiji and Australia with 4 clubs each, and other Pacific Island countries with 1 club each. The race is now on for clubs to secure a spot in the Elite 8-team competition, which will run from January to May 2026, with the application process continuing through until the end of June. OFC Professional League manager Stuart Luman has hailed the overwhelming response as a significant milestone. The OFC Professional League is set to redefine the football landscape in the region, establishing a competitive and sustainable framework for elite football. With 8 premier teams from across the Pacific, the league promises to set new benchmarks for the performance, competition, and opportunity for the sport across Oceania. The club application process ends in June 2025. The OFC Club Licensing Committee's recommendations will then be presented to the OFC Executive Committee in August 2025, before a final approval is made and licenses issued to the 8 selected clubs in September 2025. The OFC Professional League kicks off in January 2026. As the OFC prepares for this monumental shift in the football landscape, the enthusiasm from clubs across the Pacific reveals a united interest in developing professional football within the region. The impending league is anticipated to foster talent, increase competitiveness, and ultimately enrich the sporting culture in Oceania. Terry Longwood, TV1 Sports.
Members of the PNG women's softball train-on squad to the Palau Mini Games will be hosting their first ever Batter Up Hit-a-thon fundraiser this weekend at Bissini Softball Diamonds. Each representative player from the squad will compete against each other to see who hits the most number of balls the farthest out of 20 balls. The further the ball is hit, the pledge increases. The player with the highest amount of pledges wins. You can pledge from 10 kina upwards, while there is no limit to your generosity. All proceeds go towards the squad's levy fees, plus training and playing gears. Corporate companies, work colleagues, teammates, friends and family are invited to support this cause and support the PNG women's softball team to Palau. Queensland Rugby League can confirm further postponement of all Host Plus Cup Round 1 matches for this weekend. The QRL made every attempt to get teams on the field, while at all times assessing the safety of participants and the well-being of their families in line with government advice. However, due to the delayed arrival of Cyclone Alfred and not being able to assess its impact prior to matches, all South East Queensland games, including Hervey Bay junior representative fixtures, have been postponed.
With airport closures taking effect, Brisbane Tigers and PNG Hunters can no longer transit through Brisbane, meaning their respective Host Plus Cup games in Cairns and Mackay have been postponed as well. The only statewide competition fixtures that will proceed as scheduled are the junior representative matches in Cairns and Mackay. The postponed Host Plus Cup games have been rescheduled. Ipswich Jets vs Townsville Blackhawks set for Saturday, May 10th. Mackay Cutters vs PNG Hunters, April 19. Bears and Central Queensland Campers, August 2. Northern Pride vs Brisbane Tigers, May 10. North Devils vs Redcliffe Dolphins, April 19. South Logan Magpies vs Western Clydesdales, May 11, and Tweed Seagulls vs Wynnum Manly Seagulls, April 19. While further assessments and updates regarding the effects of Tropical Cyclone Alfred will be further done next week, the PNG Hunters remain positive that their Round 2 clash against Sunshine Coast Falcons at the Sunshine Coast Stadium on the 15th of March will proceed as scheduled. Hunters have a bye in Round 3 before they host Brisbane Tigers in Round 4 at the National Football Stadium, Port Moresby. Terry Longwood, TV1 Sports.
North Queensland Cowboys centre and PNG international Zach Leibert has missed out on making the top grade for this weekend's game and will start in the Queensland Cup. Leibert's return to the pitch signals a long road of recovery from an ACL injury that sidelined him for the majority of 2024 season.
The North Queensland Cowboys have decided not to include centre and PNG international Zach Leibert in their squad for Round 1 clash against Manly Seagulls Saturday at Brookvale Oval. Instead, coach opted to go with centre pairing of Jackson Perdue and Viliame Vailia. Trying to impress the coach to make the premier grade, the 24-year-old PNG Kumul representative player will be looking to make a significant impact in Queensland Cup competition next weekend with the Northern Pride. He will use the opportunity to build match fitness and form before a potential return to the NRL. Leibert, known for his strong defense on the edge, was a star for the Cowboys before injury struck last year, disrupting what was promising to be a breakout season for him. However, after months of hard work in rehabilitation, the PNG international is ready to show he is ready for an NRL return. Leibert told the Cowboys it's been a long road in recovery process, but he's been working hard with medical and strength staff to get to this point. Leibert said Queensland Cup is a great chance for him to get some minutes and build towards a potential return to the NRL. Labour's focusing on regaining form in the Queensland Cup and make his way into the Premier grade. The Queensland Cup competition round 1 was postponed to next weekend. Meanwhile, fellow PNG Kumul representative player Robert Tubby will be starting on the wing for the Northern Pride after missing out on making the top side for the weekend's game. Terry Longwood, TV1 Sports.
Preparations are in full swing for the highly anticipated 11th annual Joey Charlie Cup, scheduled from March 6 to 8 at the Daru Main Sports Oval. This year's tournament is set to feature an impressive lineup of 32 men's teams and 12 women's teams competing for prestigious honors.
Since its beginning in 2013, the Joey Charlie Cup has evolved into a celebrated sporting event within the South Fly district. Initially dominated by local teams, the tournament's open entry policy has increasingly drawn competitors from other regions, enhancing its appeal. Over the years, teams from Kiunga in North Fly have made notable contributions to the tournament. In 2022, a team from Moresby participated, marking a significant milestone in the competition's history and showcasing its growing recognition. The previous year's tournament in 2023 saw the Texas Harlequins crowned champions, raising the competitive standard for this year's participants. Chairman of the 2024 Joey Charlie Cup, Emmanuel Gauga, expressed his enthusiasm for this year's event. He highlighted the importance of having an open framework to encourage participation from teams across the province and beyond. The Joey Charlie Cup has become a vital platform for showcasing local talent and fostering unity among communities. With thrilling matches and a vibrant competitive spirit on the horizon, sports enthusiasts and supporters are encouraged to gather at Daru to witness the action firsthand. Teams interested in competing can reach out to the tournament organizers for more information. As excitement builds, all eyes will be on Daru from March 6 to 8 as the Joey Charlie Cup solidifies its reputation as a premier sporting event in Western Province and beyond. Terry Longwood, TV1 Sports.
Trent Robinson was defiant in the face of criticism as he reflected on his Roosters side's performance in their 50-14 hammering at the hands of the Broncos in round 1. Speaking in his press conference, Robinson admitted disappointment in his side's defensive performance, but commended their ability to keep working hard for each other in the face of a red-hot Broncos onslaught.
While disappointed, his side struggled to stay in touch with the Broncos despite scoring the first try of the night. He still saw his players working hard in defence.
I gave him a big rap for effort. I thought thought our physicality and our effort was really, really high. I was really proud of him for that. And I thought our smarts was really, really low. We got beaten a lot on, some tackling for the most part, fourth tackle in the first half was an issue, tackling. We fixed that up in the second half, and then we got beaten on short sides, numbers, and we got beaten on last play.
Robinson revealed Victor Radley was okay despite his concussion, but is likely to need some time on the sidelines, and the Roosters will go through the protocols. He also revealed that Ned Butcher underwent surgery and won't be back next week after he was late scratching from the team to face the Broncos. Meanwhile, the Brisbane Broncos' Michael Maguire era has begun in a stunning fashion with a 50-14 victory over the Sydney Roosters, who may struggle in 2025 after their off-season exodus. Having seen a slew of their most influential players, including Jared Warry-Hargreaves and Luke Keary, depart 2024 and still awaiting the return of halfback Sam Walker and hooker Brandon Smith from torn ALCs. The Roosters were also without forwards Pensy Leniu, Matt Butcher and Egan Butcher. Things got worse for the Tricolours when back rower Victor Radley was concussed in a 13th-minute tackle by friendly fire from captain James Tedesco. Maguire praised Broncos prop Payne Haas, who got through a heavy workload on both sides of the ball. He posted 65 post-contact meters from his ball carries and managed 9 tackle breaks and 4 offloads. Haas also made 22 tackles.
Really happy for the players. Obviously, they put the work in throughout the pre-season, and I guess the harder you work, the rewards come. And fortunately for us tonight, they were able to capitalise on things that they've been practicing. So it was nice to see the things that we've been working on come out and play.
The Broncos players made a rapid exit from the stadium to return to Brisbane before tropical Cyclone Alfred makes landfall over the weekend. Terry Longwood, TV1 Sports.
And that ends the sports segment. Now for the weather forecast. Southern region, Port Moresby partly cloudy with evening showers and possible inland thunderstorm. Popondetta mostly cloudy with rain showers and possible thunderstorms. Momase, Ley partly cloudy with evening showers and rain drizzles. New Guinea Islands, Lorengau sunny then mostly fine. Boka partly cloudy with some showers. Highlands, Mount Hagen cloudy with evening showers then rain and thunderstorms. Ocean forecast, Coral Sea, seas slight to moderate with southwest to northwest tending clockwise winds of 10 to 20 knots. Solomon Seas, seas slight to moderate with north to northeast winds of 10 to 20 knots. Bismarck Seas, seas slight to moderate with northeast to easterly winds of 10 to 20 knots. Pacific Ocean, seas moderate to patches rough with easterly winds of 15 to 25 knots. And coastal waters, waters of Samaria Island to Cape Vogel and all Milne Bay Islands, seas 0.5 to 1.5 meters. Waters of Manus and its western group of islands and New Ireland to East New Britain to Bougainville, seas 1.5 to 2 meters. And that ends the news tonight. Tomorrow's bulletin will be at 8:30 p.m. due to the live broadcast of the NRL games. Have a pleasant evening. Bye for now.